Welcome student for the series of database management system. Today we will see normalization. We have discussed the anomalies of unnormalized database in the last lecture. Whenever you have a table and if the table is not following the normalization rule at the time, it will suffer from some problems. These problems are called anomalies of unnormalized database, in which we have already seen update anomaly, delete anomaly, and insert anomaly, and the data duplication problem. To minimize these problems, we use a concept which is called normalization. Normalization is the process of organizing the data in the database to avoid all the problems which are suffer from unnormalized database. That is the data redundancy, duplication of data, insert anomaly, update anomaly, and delete anomaly. If you follow the normalization rules which are given by EF called, there are some advantages and there are some disadvantages. Let's see the advantages and disadvantages of normalization. Number one, it reduces the redundancy. We already know that when we have a duplicate data, that duplicate data is called data redundancy. When we have a data redundancy, it leads to the higher storage requirement. So if we are using the normalization at that time, the table is having will be in some normal forms, and what it will be result? It will result in reducing the redundancy. It means that the record which we are inserting will be inserted only at once. It does not have a duplicate data. Next, a large amount of data will be added to the database design. Then it is better for overall database association, because here the normalization is rule. So the association can be created by using the foreign key concept. So we can identify the primary key and we can link the multiple table by using the certain relationship and certain foreign keys. Data uniformity inside the databases. If we follow the normalization rule, the data which we are inserting in the table is having a unique uniformity. Okay. With these advantages, these are some advantages. We will be having some disadvantages also if we are using the normalization. You are not able to begin the construction of the database prior to know what the customer desire. As we know that normalization is very step-by-step procedure. Here first we need to identify all the data which we want to store in the database. Then we divide that data into certain tables and then we identify the association between the tables. So if we don't know what the customer desire, what the customer wants to store in the database, we are not able to construct the database. So it takes it is a time consuming process. With increase in the normal form, its performance gets slower and slower, because every time when we apply the normal forms, there are multiple rules which we are enforcing on the table. So what it does, it increase the normal forms and it result into decreasing the speed. It gets slower and slower. Next, it is extremely time consuming and complicated method in the normalizing the relations of advanced degree. If the degree of the relationship is high, at the time how we are able to apply the normalization rule will be little bit complicated and it will take a time. It is a time consuming process. Next, careless disintegration may guide to the terrible design of the database, which may lead to the troubles in the future time. If we have a table and we apply the normal forms and these normal forms are not properly applied, at the time you will be having some major issues in future. Now, after completing the normalization advantages and disadvantages, Now it is a topic where we discuss what are the normal forms. So in normal forms, we will be having 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, and BCNF. In the next lecture, we will see these normal forms in detail.